As the corporate sector evolves, Burka Africa remains committed to cultivating world-class thought leaders and providing innovative, human-centered solutions that shape a prosperous future for African governments and businesses. About Burka Africa. Burka Africa is a platform that houses expert consultants from across the African sub-region that provide strategic sustainable leadership, organizational development, corporate governance, coaching, and ESG advisory services to businesses and African governments. Burka's strategic thrust is to strengthen strategic alignment for Africa's development by bridging the gap between governments, businesses, and industry experts for leadership and business solutions, serving as a center for excellence and transformative leadership insights in Africa. The consortium is dedicated to shaping ethical, visionary, productive, and sustainable businesses and leadership across Africa. Through advisory, training, and coaching, Burka supports executives, managers, and organizations in achieving excellence, growth, and sustainable impact. Visit our website www.burkafrica.com for more information.
You're welcome. Good morning from Ghana and hello, Africa. This morning, you're welcome to our African Youth Leadership Development Program webinar series. And our topic of today is Youth Leadership in Africa, Mindset, Identity, and Purpose. What a great way to start the year. So Africa's future is being shaped by a generation of young people navigating rapid social, economic, and technological change. Yet, leadership today requires more than talent and ambition. It demands a right mindset and a strong sense of identity and purpose. So today, we have our guests with us who are experts and will take us through this discussion. And please, if you have not logged in yet, please join us in the conversation. You can join us via Facebook. You can join us via LinkedIn. You can join us via YouTube in the conversation, and feel free to make comments or post your questions for our audience, and our guests will be willing to respond to them. So with me in studio today, I will start in no particular order. With me, it's Mr. Daniel Tete. He is a staff member of the Scripture Union, where he served since 2011, and he holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and is currently pursuing a master's degree in organizational leadership and governance at the University of Ghana Business School. So he has served in various leadership roles, including the GAFES at president at the university level, and he's also currently with the Scripture Union. He has served as a program officer for the Central Region, and he is now the national manager for Christian Teachers Fellowship, overseeing work in colleges of education nationwide. So he's married to Miss Francisca. You'll get to know more about him, and he'll come on board to share his experience. You're welcome, Mr. Daniel Tete. So I'll also move forward to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker he's Mr. Obed Opoku. He's a startup engineer, a strategic business analyst, and an accomplished professional with over 5 years of experience at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, where he serves as a facilitator and administrator. Beyond his academic role, he also stands as an emerging business magnate, a seasoned IT professional, a business development expert, a corporate trainer, a life coach, and an author. He is also the visionary founder of the NetTech Group, comprising training, purpose publication, Intern Connect, and many other things, as well as he's a motivational speaker and an award-winning entrepreneur. You're welcome, Mr. Obed, to the show. And before we proceed, myself, your moderator, I'm Dr. Marvis B. My background is in development studies, international development, youth development, and currently I'm the operations and business lead at Baker Africa. You're all welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Dr.
Sure, great. To kickstart.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe as to kickstart our conversation, and in that you may also add up a few things about yourself if I've left anything out. But let's begin by looking inward. To start us off, I want us to look at mindset. What mindset shift do young Africans need to genuinely see themselves as leaders and change makers, even before they have influence or authority? What mindset? Let's look at the mindset before we move. So I would say, anyone, Mr. Daniel, you can go first.
All right, so thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here. I think first we have to look at what mindset is. And mindset is the way you think, believe, and see the world. That is your worldview about something. And so how you perceive things, how you understand things, that is mindset. Now, I think that African young leaders must begin to shift from someone will fix it to I am responsible. I'm saying this because young African leaders, anytime that there's something that has to be done, and when they realize that they are not in position, they try to say that, I'm not responsible, this person is the one supposed to face. So leadership starts when the youth of Africa have a mental shift from waiting for government or outsiders to fix our problem, and that is confronting our nation. We must shift from that and begin to take responsibility, a little responsibility. I don't know if you want me to add more, but I think there must be a mind shift. We must change from someone will fix it to I am responsible, and not waiting for somebody to come and fix the problem, because I believe that God created us to solve problems. So as a human being, you are created to solve problems. You are actually an answer to the problems of this world.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, we should stop shifting to someone else, waiting for someone else to do it. So, Mr. Obed, what is your take on that?
Okay, so most have been said, but what I think in adding up is one of the most important shifts young Africans we must take is to stop seeing leadership as something that begins after graduation or after being appointed or elected into power. I believe leadership begins with responsibilities. The day you stop asking who will change things and start asking what role can I play, that's when life change. You do not need to become a leader because everything is perfect. You become a leader because you decided to respond to impactful situations with courage, ideas, and action. So, as we young people in Africa, the best way for us to be able to be felt relevant in this ecosystem is for us to see leadership not only as being appointed or elected into position, but it should be our day-to-day activity. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. We shouldn't, leaders are not only appointed, but leaders are people who take responsibility. I take that. So now many young people, I'm following up on that, Mr. Obed, many young people grow up surrounded by tough realities. We all know how it is in Africa. But how can those young people now overcome limiting beliefs that are shaped by our society, the economic and systemic challenges? We all acknowledge that Africa, we have quite a number of those. So how can young people overcome this limiting belief that shaped their world?
I think many young people in Africa are not limited by opportunity, but by the stories they have accepted about themselves. Your environment may shape your experience, but it does not have the final say over your future. Where you were born, who raised you up, the school you attended has nothing to do with who you will become. Every meaningful journey begins when you choose to believe that your life can be better than what you see around you. Progress begins when we all stop rehearsing our excuses. Every day, most young youth are rehearsing their excuses. I don't have this, I can't do this, I can't do this. I think that is what is actually limiting us. But when we stop that and we start rehearsing our possibilities, I think it will be a game changer for us to be able to mitigate it.
Great. Beautiful. Stop rehearsing your excuses and start rehearsing your possibilities. If you've just joined us online, please kindly introduce yourself and let us know where you are joining us from. And please feel free to contribute to the conversation, ask your questions, make comments. Thank you so much. And Mr. Daniel, what's your take on that? I'd like to hear what you think.
Yes, so I think African young leaders, we should move from scarcity thinking, into abundance thinking. African has often been taught to see itself as poor and lacking. That is seeing Africa as a resource or rich people. You see, we have grown and we see Africa receiving aid or support from the foreign country or Europe. And because that thing happened, we have also accepted that. And so Africa is seen as a poor country. And that thing has become a stronghold or a mindset. But I believe that we have more than enough, especially let's use Ghana. Ghana is so blessed with rich, resource, the minerals. Let's talk about the gold. Let's talk about our cocoa. So I believe that it is time for us to shift from, thinking that we are poor, we lack this, and then come to a place of accepting that we have in abundance and there is more, and then we have to also now begin to be creative. How do we turn this? How do we change this? And how do we create things out of what the Lord has blessed us with? Then from job seeking only, people are just interested in seeking jobs. I think we should think beyond employment. We should think beyond employment and be innovative and decide to solve problems. I believe, as I said earlier, I believe that we've been created to solve problems. So we should not just only be seeking for jobs, but we should create it ourselves. We should be innovative, and we can do because it is inside of us. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. That's insightful. So this leads us to look, to look at it to the inner work of leadership. Let's look inward. So why is self-awareness then so critical in developing a strong leadership identity, especially for young people? So Mr. Daniel, you can pick that up.
Okay. Self-identity is so critical. Self-awareness is critical. So critical. It's so important. It's so important to, developing a strong leadership identity, because you cannot leave others well until you understand yourself clearly. I think first we have to discover ourselves. You must discover who you are. You must discover your abilities. You must discover your skills. And there are so many things the Lord has put inside of us. So it is when you discover what you have, your skills, and then you put it to use, that is when you are also able to, help others. So we need to, number one, discover it ourselves. It's also important. Skills make you effective, but titles will make you visible. Self-awareness make you trustworthy and impactful. So please, I don't know if you can hear me.
Very well.
Yes. Yeah.
Without it, leadership is fragile. With it, leadership is strong, adaptable, and enduring. So we need to discover ourselves, as I said, work on ourselves, before we are. My screen was off. Can you still see me?
Yes, we can see you.
All right. Yeah, so
Sure.
I want to end by saying that without it, leadership is fragile. With it, leadership is strong and adaptable. So we need to discover ourselves. What do I carry? What do I have? And if I'm able to discover those talents, and sometimes people think that because they are not first in class, or they are not among the first 10 in class, sometimes the way they carry them, they feel inferior. But it is not being first. Sometimes you can go to school, you are not the first. It might not, God might not necessarily, be looking at you as a first class student before he will use you. He has put so many things in us. So we have to do the self-discovery, and then we begin to work on ourselves. That is so important. And when you work on those skills and you put it to use, there's a scripture that says that, and our gifts will make a way for us. And so it is those gifts and talents that will take you to great people and will make ways for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know Mr. Obed would like to add to that, but as you add, let's say if leadership starts from within, as Mr. Daniel has just mentioned, and you all alluded to that, then it's not just about position then. So how can young people then define their leadership identity beyond their age and their title and their social status? How can they define their leadership identity beyond age, titles, and social status? You can pick on that, and self-awareness, you can combine both and respond to. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just start by just adding few to what my brother shared. I believe self-awareness is a foundation of genuine leadership, because you cannot become or you cannot build a strong life on a borrowed identity. And I think currently that is the main challenge most of the youth are facing in life, building a life on a borrowed identity. When you understand who you are, what you carry, and what you still need to grow in, you stop competing and start contributing. Leadership becomes more authentic when it flows in a clarity, not from competition. So I think with that, we need to be self-aware and build a genuine life based on what we want to achieve. in the aspect of how we leaders or leadership can be identified beyond age, title, or social status, I think true leadership is not announced by title. You can be a leader with no title, no position, but your impact will be felt in your community, in your society, in wherever you find yourself, being it in church. Taking church as an example, we have people in church who are not leaders by title, but anytime they are absent from church, everybody in the congregation felt their absence in them because it's self-revealed by impact. You may not be a student, a graduate, or a worker, but if your presence brings solution, hope, or direction, you are already leading. Leadership is not about where you sit. No, it's about what changed because you showed up. So going forward, I believe that your age, status, all those doesn't matter. It's about the impact you can make when nobody is watching you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. It's about the impact you can make when no one is watching you. And I like it when you say we don't have to wait for positions and titles. I think that's a challenge. Some young people feel that they must be accorded with a certain titles before they take on responsibility. But I have seen that it's rather when you are responsible, you take on responsibility, that people then give you the titles. Mr. Daniel, is that correct? I know you're also a pastor, so is that correct?
Please repeat. I went off briefly. I think my internet interrupted.
Okay. I said, because Mr. Obed said something that you don't have to wait to get the titles before you do anything, or
Yes,
it's not about
yes.
taking responsibility. And then I said,
Yes.
then I liaise back to you because I understand you're a pastor, and being a pastor, I know that sometimes you don't just give titles to people. You wait to see that they are taking responsibility before you give anyone gets a title. So that's anything to add to that.
Yes, so that is so right. Leadership is not about position. Leadership is not about prestige. Leadership is about influence. And I believe that God created human beings to influence creation. And so everybody has the potential to lead. And so if we talk about influence, to what is influence? Influence is the ability to persuade people, to work to achieve a certain goal. And so I was wondering how Osama bin Laden, he is not having a position, how Osama bin Laden is able to, mobilize people to go and attack US. You see, so leadership is not about position. You can be in your, closet, small place, and you are still influencing the system. So I want to put across that there are people who are not in leadership position, but when they speak, people want to listen to them. When they give instruction, people follow. And it is not because they are in position, but it is because they have a certain track record. They have a certain track record.
Great.
Work on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes. So I just want to put across that leadership is not about position. It's not even about power. But it's about what you are bringing out. So when you begin to solve problems, when you begin to care for people, when you begin to be very innovative, so it doesn't necessarily have to be you being in power or being in position. You can be everywhere. You can be below. Sometimes you can be even very young and still influencing your parents. And yes, our children influence us. Those of you that you've been parents, you see how sometimes, your child can influence you. So leadership is not about position. I believe that leadership is about influence. And wherever you are, you can live with what you can lead or influence with whatever you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. both of you for sharing your thoughts on that. And our audience, I would like to acknowledge you, Redeemer Kote. Kote, you're watching from Kibi, and Joseph Owusu, watching from Ghana, watching from Ghana, particularly the Cape Coast, and Sami Zifa, from the Eastern region. You are welcome. I acknowledge you. And I see a comment here from Judges that Judges Eddie, that leadership is not about position or in power. I think it's reflecting what our guest just said in studio. And welcome to Derek Penel. Derek, you're welcome. And please, if you've not, if you're watching us online, kindly let us know where you're watching us from, and feel free to reflect on anything the guest, any comments or anything that our guests are speaking on. Feel free to ask your questions, and our guests will be here to respond to them. Thank you very much. So we proceed. So looking, we understand that leadership doesn't exist in isolation, especially in Africa. Leadership in Africa doesn't exist in isolation. So in what ways do our culture, our values, our sense of community shape how young people lead? Mr. Daniel, you can take a lead on that, and you can start, and Mr. Albert will go after you.
Yes. So in what ways? In what ways do African culture, values, and community influence youth leadership? Yeah. So I said earlier that we have a certain mindset that Africans are poor, that we lack. But if you look around us, you will see that we have so many resources. Is just because of a certain kind of mindset that we built for a very, very long time. So I think that we should begin to see ourselves as an image of God. Let me put it that way, that God created us for a reason, and God created us for a purpose. So youth leaders, we number one, we have to stay focused. Okay, and then know that all the things around us and all the things that we enjoy, we can use it to shape our nation. So we should accept them the way they are. Sometimes when you are in a certain environment and you begin to have issues, a lot of issues, that is when you begin to act or think creatively to bring solution. And so I believe that as a young person, wherever you find yourself, wherever you are, after discovering yourself, look at the resource that you have and make use of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And make use of the resources around you. Okay, Mr. Obed, what's your take on how culture and our value system and sense of community shape how we lead as young people?
I believe for time, since time immemorial, African culture has played a significant role in terms of leadership, how it influenced us. It taught us how we should come together, to build together, to live together, and also to work together. Gone are the days we have community labor whereby people come together, we work as a team. Christmas, we share food to our communities. We came together as individual people building something. That was the culture that we were having as an Africa, and that was how it was shaping us, the youth, in terms of leadership. But it's just some few years back that things have changed. But I think if we can go back a bit, African values remind us that success is never a solo journey. We rise by lifting others. Our culture teaches us resilience, respect, and responsibility to community. When we, the young leaders, understand this, leadership stops being about personal success alone and becomes about collective progress and shared identity. So I think we used to do that, but just some few years coming, that is where we are letting individualism kill who we are as Africans. But I think it's a way that we have to go back a bit to still leverage on our culture and our value, how we're all brought up. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Success is never a solo journey, it's collective. So that's Africa, and we should go back being have to be Africans and stop being individualistic. I think together we succeed, and which is a great idea. That's Africa's foundation. So, but we talk of leadership, Mr. Obed. I'll go back to you. It often comes with pressure, as much as it's true when we go together we succeed, but it comes with pressure, real pressure. How can then a young leader remain authentic and ethical when faced with expectations, especially from the same community, from the same people they serve? When faced with these expectations, influence, or compromise, how can this young person, this young leader, remain authentic and ethical?
Yes, I believe leadership or pressure does not change people, but I think it reveals them. The safest way to remain authentic is to decide your value before temptation arrives. When your principles are clear enough, you do not need to negotiate your conscience. You may lose some opportunities, but when you will never lose yourself. In this sense, I think it's a high time that before you take any leadership position, first you have to assess yourself, know yourself very well, because the pressure will come, the temptations will come. But the only way you can be able to overcome them is by you knowing your value, what you stand for. And when those situations arise, you'll be able to be very authentic to yourself to be able to protect what you have built for over the years. Thank you.
That's very interesting. And I can imagine that also could be a little bit challenging from looking at, I'm speaking now to Mr. Daniel Tete, working both, trying to maintain the morals and your Christian values, being a pastor, working in the secular space as well, and maintaining your value, maintaining your authenticity, maintaining your your identity, who you are. So how do you balance that? How do you overcome that? I'd like also, as we share, to also share some personal testimonies. Our young people relate to this much more too.
Yeah, so before that, let me also speak to the question briefly. I believe that young leaders can stay authentic, and ethical by grounding their decisions in a clear values, in a clear value, and then a strong sense of purpose. Mas Moreau said that if purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. I believe that the reason why people are gallivanting, moving around, they don't know their left and right, is because a number of people don't know their purpose. But when you discover your purpose, it gives you a sense of direction. What I want to say is that knowing what you stand for helps you to resist pressure and to compromise your integrity. So what I want to say, that as a young leader, after discovering yourself, you must have values. You must set values for yourself. And it is these ones that will help you to be, fair in terms of decisions that you take. Practicing self-awareness and reflection allows leaders to recognize when external influences are shaping their action in unhealthy ways. That is, being transparent, communication, accountability, and all of that. So what I mean is that when you are able to discover yourself, yourself, when some of these external pressure or influences comes, because you know yourself, you have discovered yourself and work on yourself, you will not give in to some of these external pressures. Yeah. So how do I balance the work that I'm doing? Is it the Scripture Union work I'm doing with leadership? If you can come again on that.
Oh, it's fine. Any.
Yeah. So like I said, as a leader or as a young person, you need to set, values. You need to set certain values and principles. This is what I want to do. And you do them, you practice them, you do them. You don't just set them and then decide which ones to do. I believe that nobody becomes great suddenly or by chance. Greatness cannot be, achieved suddenly. It requires a process of time. So as a young person, I've been taught quiet time. I've been taught how to read the Bible and pray because I'm a believer. And so I need to do this because if I don't do it, I will not see result. So it must be practical. You don't preach virtue and do vice. So I wake up, I pray, and then I try to set boundaries for myself, especially when I was not married. I'm careful when I go out and, preaching the gospel and discipling the young ones. All of us can tell that if you are a young man and you are on fire, the ladies will always want to come and talk to you, speak to you. And if you are not careful and you don't close your lap, I mean, you know the consequences or the repercussion. So the point I'm making is that you must set boundaries for yourself. It is not every time that you have to be watching movies, you have to be chatting with people. Because whatever time you spend, your life is also being taken away. So I keep saying that time is precious. Time is the greatest commodity. And the more our time goes, the more our life is also going or moving. And so let us respect time, set boundaries for ourselves, and then discipline ourselves to make sure that whatever we have set to do, we will do it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. And to our audience, I would like to acknowledge Theodora Mate from Ghana and Senyo Awudi from Ghana. Thank you for joining the conversation. Please, you can leave your comment or ask questions. And there's a comment here from Judges. He says that the bottom line in leadership isn't how far we advance ourselves, but how far we advance others. A quote from John C. Maxwell. That is so true. It isn't how far we advance ourselves. Mr. Obed, we want to make a comment on that?
Can you say it again, please?
The bottom line in leadership, that's what Judges said in the comment section, isn't how far we advance ourselves, but how far we advance others.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that is even the definition of a leadership. So for a leader, it's not about what you are getting, but by the influence that you can have on the people around you. So if you alone be in a position and you think that, oh, let me serve myself, I don't care about the people around me, you will not be able to achieve the goal. But the moment you begin to influence people, help them to achieve the goal, that is how leadership is being measured. For instance, a man was asked, if you discover a gold mine that you can mine for, it's limited for 3 days, what will you do? The guy said that I will mine 24/7 for the 3 days. And the man said, no, that is not how you should do it. Go out there, look for young people, energetic, bring them in, take 10% or 50%, let them mine because the thing is unlimited, but you have only 3 days to mine it. If each of the people who are going to mine is giving you 50%, you are not going to work. You are going to just sit down, fold your arms, and you will even have more. That is leadership. When we begin to see it that way, by advancing people, by helping others, that is the only way we can felt we can become we can be able to achieve the goal of being a leader, and also we'll be able to see the impact of we being leaders.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Wisdom there. That's so much wisdom. Thank you. So but then we've talked on mindset, on identity and purpose. I know some young people out there could be asking the question on what their purpose is really what their purpose is. So how can young people in Africa discover purpose in such a fast changing African and global context? Mr. Obed, you can start. I would like you to, if possible, to also share personal experience when you discovered that, when you discovered your purpose, and how, and maybe you could help one or two young persons out there.
Okay, this is a very great question, because purpose is something you cannot identify or find in a day. It's a lifelong. Some live their whole entire life without even discovering their purpose. Some at the age of 50 years before they're able to identify it, but some as early as 16, 17 years, that's when they're able to identify their purpose. In perspective, I want to share just a short journey of mine. When I was in senior high school, and I asked myself, if I'm to retire today, what do I want to retire as? Who do I want to be? I was very young. I think I was 13 or 14 years by then. And I asked myself this question. And I said, what do I want to retire as? What? As a doctor, as a lecturer, as what? So when you begin to ask yourself these questions, what you want to be known at the end of your life, this brings you some level of getting close to your purpose. Okay, this is what I want to become. Then you begin to break it down to find the right people that can help you to achieve that purpose. Discovering your purpose, it's not easy, because sometimes you might think this is your purpose. You work on it for a time, realize that no, this is not what I want to do. But I think it's something you discover while you are serving, learning, and growing. You pay attention to what moves your heart, what problem disturbs you, and what you keep returning to. Directions become clearer when you start working, not when you keep waiting. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I see you said what moves your heart, what drives you, the passion that what is it that gives you sleepless night? You can't sleep because when you think of it. And thank you so much. And Mr. Daniel, anything on how you discovered your purpose to add to it, so it could help one or two young people out there?
Yes. Yes, so briefly, young people can discover their purpose by reflecting on their talent, their passion, and values, and aligning them with the needs of their community and the world. I said earlier that, everybody on this earth, you have an assignment, and God created us to solve a problem. But how do you discover that this is my assignment? I think I said some time ago on a platform that we have the specific purpose and then we have the general purpose. So God gives us special assignment. And when he gives us a special assignment, sometimes he gives it to you so that you can help a community, you can help a nation, or sometimes it can even be the world or continent, whatever. So they should seek knowledge. I believe that they should seek after you discover. And as he said, it's very difficult, especially when you begin trying and it's not working, But I believe that the easiest way, well, it might not be easy for some people. The easiest way to discover your purpose is to look at your talent, your passion. What do you have passion for? Okay. When I see people, in sin, what happens to my heart? Or when I see people in need, what happens to me? Then you must also discover, your talents. Nobody is empty. We have something in us, but we must discover those things and put them to use. So as young people, after you discover this, you must also look for mentors. Look for somebody to mentor you, somebody to coach you, and then allow yourself to be exposure to, diverse experience. I believe that when you sit at one place with whatever you have discovered about yourself, that thing will die. So you must, get to know people. When people organize programs, you must attend and learn something for yourself. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And you just touched on something that I would like to follow up on. I'll ask you to shed more light on. You see, leadership, that's true. Leadership also grow through people, not isolation. So what role do collaboration, mentorship, and networks play in amplifying youth leadership across Africa? Mr. Daniel, you can pick up from there.
Yes, so from a biblical perspective, let me come that way because I'm a Christian. The connection between personal purpose and Africa's, development needs lies in God's call for stewardship and then service, and I believe justice. Everybody is created with a purpose and a unique gifts meant to serve other people. So I believe that we must accept that this mobile phone, somebody created it. I mean, somebody manufactured it, and then he tried to, teach us how it functions and all of that. So when individuals live out their purpose, it becomes a tool for transformation that contributes to the well-being of their community, hence meeting Africans' developmental needs such as poverty reduction, ethical leadership and education, and social justice. By discovering and pursuing their God-given purpose, individuals are equipped to address the challenges within with integrity, passion, and responsibility. I personally believe that when you discover yourself, whatever purpose the Lord show you is not just for yourself, but it's for other people as well. It's to serve other people. So we must understand that whatever the Lord has put in us, He's asking us to use it to serve, and to serve the community, to serve our nation, and to serve the people around us. I don't know if I've answered you.
Well, that's fine. Thank you. You've answered me. I think
was there 2 in 1 question?
There were 2 in 1, but it's okay. Mr. Obed will pick up on the mentorship and collaboration. You touched on it initially already, but he can pick up on how the role of collaboration, mentorship, and networks. What role do collaboration, mentorship, and networks play in amplifying youth leadership?
Okay.
So I think when we talk about mentorship, connections, and leadership, it has become the prerequisite of life, and that is what most of the youth of today are ignoring. In a sense that the youth of today who aspire to become someone great, one, they are not willing to serve, they are not willing to let someone mentor them, and most always they believe in what they believe in. They believe that they can do it without any supervision. They can do it without connection. They can do it without mentoring. So they have a mindset that they can do it without experience. But one thing I have come to understand and realize that it's only a good servant that becomes a good leader. If you are not a good servant, you can never become a good leader. So there's a need for you to be able to have someone who will mentor you, have role models, build connections. From my experience, I've been able to work with about 7 universities in Ghana and abroad because I dedicated myself to serve people. I have served people where I was not doing it for money, but for the passion and the love. And it's true that today I've been given opportunity to lead people, lead institutions, lead programs, lead events, and lead people. So I think it's a tool that is mandatory that for every youth we have on this platform today, that if you think you can do it all by yourself, my dear, it's a lie. Get someone in your ecosystem, get someone in your network, get someone who you can be submit to, who can mentor you, coach you. And these are the people who can bring the connection aspect for you to be able to achieve the goal. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And
Dr.
our,
I don't know.
yes.
I don't know if you permit me on that because I didn't respond to that just in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Working with others allows young leaders to combine, our strength, share ideas, and tackle challenges more effectively. It also fosters, teamwork, creativity, and a collective impact. So, as I said, we don't have it all. And my brother mentioned sometimes young people believe that they can do it all by themselves. And now, because we have so many ways, like the social media, some people even don't want to bother themselves speaking to somebody about issues and asking them to help. And so I want to encourage all of us. We don't have it all. Your strength might be my weakness, and my weakness might be your strength. And so when you discover your strength, you must use it very well. And of course, I for some time I've discovered that I'm very gifted or very good at organizing, and I have been working on that to make sure that when I'm organizing, I'm doing it well and I'm doing it excellently, so that when somebody is watching, that person will also be inspired. And so I believe that when we combine whatever we have, when we combine, we share ideas together, it will tackle the challenges that we have around us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that. That's true. Collaboration
Thank
is
you,
a
Dr. Mavis.
Thank you. Collaboration is the key word now. You need to collaborate, work with other people. Mentorship, we cannot overemphasize that. Mr. Albert also alluded to that. We all need someone to guide you. As much as you may have your vision clear, you know what you want, but you need someone to guide you. So I'll take the last set of comments on our platform and give our guests a minute each to respond before we continue. Acknowledge Mr. Paul Nyama watching from Accra, Achimota. And here there's a question from Redeemer. He says that, I'm reading, they say
Okay.
a leader is a servant, but most leaders are being looked down upon or seemed to be powerless because of their availability in serving. What do you think we lack in this? I remember, Mr. Albert, you're the one who touched on leadership and serving, leaders as servant. So the comment, would you want to give a try to that? Would you want to respond to Redeemer's comment? He says that, I repeat again, that a
Okay, sure.
leader is a servant, but most leaders are being looked down upon or seemed to be powerless because of the availability in serving. So what do you think we lack in this?
Okay, so I think the problem here is that one thing I have personally observed in Africa is that when people get opportunity to be up there, that they have to appoint people in position, they focus on nepotism, tribalism, and so many things. So they don't scout out for competent people that have served, people who have the experience, people who have the knowledge to be able to lead. Then they begin to appoint a relative because the person helped him, but the person is not having the competence. When these people are being put into position, that is when we face the challenge. We see them to be incompetent, we see them not to be able to function well because they lack expertise in the role. For instance, someone is being appointed as a minister for something, but the person's life have never have any educational or any skills, expertise on that field, and that person is leading. We can all attest to the fact that that person cannot be a competent leader. So going forward, I think it's about high time that if those up there get opportunity to select to appoint, we should be able to appoint people who are credible enough, people who have the expertise, not to sound religion. We realize that sometimes in churches, the one who can give fat offering support church products when there's a position in the church, that is who mostly they attribute or give the title of the position to. But the one who has been serving is being ignored. So when such happen, mostly we will have leaders, all right, who we are looking up to them, but realize that they are not competent and people cannot relate or follow. In a vice versa, most youth too are not willing to learn. They are just chasing people for position. That I've completed university, please, I need a job, but they don't have the skills. So I think when in a reverse way, we the youth too should be able to equip ourselves very well to have the necessary skills needed, that anytime that we are being called into any position, we can able to execute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And before I get your last words, we have a few adverts we would like to share with our audience today. This is for capacity building and training. Would like us to project. We have a training that is online, and it's the 15 laws, 15 invaluable laws. Where am I? Yeah, the 15 invaluable laws of growth. With Baker Africa and Neural, the course fee is there 250 USD. It's for 8 weeks. We run it across 8 weeks. Please, if you're interested in learning about leadership, about growth, about coaching, and how you can perform better, how you can perform better at your workplace, this is a course for you. We also run another course, which is for HR professionals. If you want to excel, if you want to advance your career in HR, this other course is for you. It's for, like I say, it's for HR professionals. If you want to advance your career, this for you. It's HR, it's management professionals. It's in Liberia. It's run in Liberia. International Professional HR Certification courses with the Cambridge and Baker Africa and Goros together as a partnership. So please, if you feel that you are called in HR, that's your path. We all have a different path, and if you feel you're called in HR and you want to excel, this course is for you. It's over, I think, 3 months or so, and it starts on the 24th of January. Please register and continue to follow us online. You find a link to register online on our Facebook page, YouTube page, and on our LinkedIn page. So thank you. Before we let our speakers go, just 1 minute each. You final word. Let's say, finally, we look to the future. What kind of leadership does Africa truly need from its youth over the next generation? Mr. Obed, you can pick it, you can start, and then Mr. Daniel, you can start. Please be giving a closing remarks by just sharing what kind of leadership you think that Africa truly need over the next generation. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I think and believe that Africa needs a generation of leaders who are ethical.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Obed is going, and then you come in after him. Sure. Thank you. Mr. Obed.
So I believe that Africa needs a generation of leaders who are ethical, competent, courageous, and service-driven. Leaders who build institutional, not just personal brands. Leaders who solve problems, not just complaints. Leaders who see leadership as a responsibility, not a privilege. And I believe that this is the time for we, the youth of Africa, to start. If not now, then when? And if not us, then when? Thank you.
Beautiful. Not complainers, problem solvers, ethical people, competent people. Thank you very much. And Mr. Daniel, your last word on that.
Without wise leadership, a nation falls. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. I want to advise our young leaders in Africa to first begin to work on themselves. You cannot lead people if you are not able to lead yourself. And then I want young leaders in Africa to begin to see leadership as service. We must be selfless. We must see leadership as an opportunity to serve others and not our selfish ambition. Leadership also begins with a responsibility. If you are taking up a leadership role, then you should know that you are going to be responsible. In Africa, we appoint leaders, and then when you want to ask them why things are not going right, and then they will come after you. So I want to let the young leaders of Africa know that leadership is service, and when they are put there, they must be responsible. Lastly, leadership is about influence, so it doesn't matter whether you have a position or not. Wherever you are, you can lead, because leadership is all about influence. And whatever you have or whatever that God has put in you, you must use it to influence your community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our distinguished guest today. From all I gather too is that leadership is not about waiting to be chosen young people. It's about choosing to take responsibility. And it's about you being willing to be accountable from the last speaker as well. Thank you all for making time to join us in studio. I think our time it's been a good time, pleasurable spending with our guests. I acknowledge you and appreciate your time. I believe our audience have learned, and the learning continues on this platform. So we'll meet again in our next webinar. Please be at the lookout. Check our social media handles, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page, our YouTube page, and stay connected. Thank you very much. Let's all continue to raise and to be responsible leaders. Bye-bye.
As the corporate sector evolves, Burka Africa remains committed to cultivating world-class thought leaders and providing innovative, human-centered solutions that shape a prosperous future for African governments and businesses. About Burka Africa. Burka Africa is a platform that houses expert consultants from across the African sub-region that provide strategic sustainable leadership, organizational development, corporate governance, coaching, and ESG advisory services to businesses and African governments. Burka's strategic thrust is to strengthen strategic alignment for Africa's development by bridging the gap between governments, businesses, and industry experts for leadership and business solutions, serving as a center for excellence and transformative leadership insights in Africa. The consortium is dedicated to shaping ethical, visionary, productive, and sustainable businesses and leadership across Africa. Through advisory, training, and coaching, Burka supports executives, managers, and organizations in achieving excellence, growth, and sustainable impact. Visit our website www.burkafrica.com for more information.